The Rocky franchise is still set to continue, but this time, not only will Michael B. Jordan be starring in Creed 3, but he's also directing it. This will be his directing debut. So Creed 3 is set to come out Thanksgiving of 2022. It's still a long way from now, but we have a little bit of info that kind of gives us an idea of what it's going to be about. I'm definitely excited to see Creed 3. I am a fan of Michael B. Jordan, and I really like the first two Creed films. I'm really hoping to see that. I don't know if this is going to be a trilogy. I don't know if they're planning on just continuing the franchise or they're just gonna close it all right here. If you have seen Creed 2, then you know that Rocky's involvement was supposedly ended right there because he just wanted to get out of the boxing world, reunite with his son, with his family, and just take back what he lost because he was just so much involved, in boxing. Or maybe he might make like a surprise cameo. Maybe they're just trying to troll us, that are trying to hide the fact that he might not come back. But there's a couple theories out there that I want to get into. Ever since I think a little bit towards the end of last year, it was suggested that Mr. T was going to come back as Clubber Lang. Then there was another theory that his son, Michael B, suggested that Clubber Lang's son was going to be the opponent for Creed 3. There's another possible theory that Mr. T would come back, but since years have passed, he's no longer the same. He kind of just let go of his old antics, and he might be turned to quote unquote a good guy instead of like the villain. And as a way to just mentor Adonis, since Rocky is supposedly out of the picture, it might be the way for him to take over in Rocky's place as that mentor figure. So there are quite a few theories out there. We're not quite sure what exactly is yet. I'm guessing most likely it will be Mr. T's, whether or not he's going to be that mentor figure or just his involvement as Victor Drago was involved, but it was his son. It was a way to bring back that character into the franchise. And this might be the case here. And I think this third installment should just be the end of it. I think a trilogy is enough. I don't know how far they could take this franchise. I mean, it just pretty seems like they're just bringing back old characters to keep this franchise going, and we're running out of characters. I mean, there's no one left from the former Rocky franchise. I mean, other than Tommy Gunn, but I mean, I don't see him as a character that just really marked history as a memorable character, better yet said. But either way, is Michael B. Jordan. I'm a big fan of his, and I hope that as his first film directing, and not only starring it but directing it, I'm wishing all the best, and I'm hoping for the best in this Creed 3 film. And for all those horror fans, die-hard horror fans, we are getting another Evil Dead installment. We did get confirmation that filming will start in New Zealand, since apparently New Zealand was able to contain the pandemic better than anyone in the world. But it's no longer set in like a wilderness setting. It's no longer in the woods. It's going to be more in a urban setting, as the article says, that it's out of the woods as well as having a female role. As this article states, the new film is also expected to take the franchise in some exciting new directions, focusing less on a remote wilderness refuge and unleashing Dead Knights and the powers in a more urban setting. I'm not too quite sure how this will work out. I don't know if that was going to benefit the Evil Dead franchise into just reviving it and to keeping it going, because we're kind of stepping away from what made it the Evil Dead, from what made it scary. Just being in that wilderness setting is, to me personally, that's what made it scary, because a lot of the scary movies they're already in a urban setting. Most of the horror films, or even just slashers, they're just in urban settings. So maybe it might just feel more like a slasher film to me instead of an actual horror film with all the gore and the bloods and all the spiritual stuff that we're known to see in the Evil Dead. A release date hasn't been confirmed, but we did get confirmation that filming will start later this year, and we will see what it will bring us. And for all those late 90s fans of the Powerpuff Girls, whether you're a guy or a girl, it don't matter. We are finally getting another series, but not a cartoon series, a live action TV series airing on the CW. And reports have said that we will have Chloe Bennett, Dove Cameron, and Yana Peralta as the 3 Powerpuff Girls. And the first story details that were released is as follows. This new Powerpuff Girls project will follow the girls 2 decades after they were the childhood heroes from the animated series. The 3 sisters are now in their 20s and they don't have the fondest memories of fighting crime as children. It's now up to them to decide whether or not they will reunite to save the world when it needs them the most. So apparently they have some sort of memory issues that they can't remember. I don't know, maybe they had too much trauma of what happened in the animated series when they were kids. They're now some grown-up adults in their 20s. They don't remember what's going on. They don't remember what they did, but somehow the world needs them again. They need them to come together to save the world. To me, this reminded me of Hook. For those that have seen the 90s film with Robin Williams, he was a grown-up Peter Pan. He was just living a normal life. He was just this business person who worked a 9-to-5 job in an office. He was always busy. He was always getting calls from work, even after he was out of the office. He was just a busy guy living a normal life with kids, with a wife. And he had no idea that he was the Peter Pan, all the stuff that he did as Peter Pan when he was a kid. He had no knowledge of it. He had no memory. But then later, throughout the movie, he remembered, oh yeah, I'm Peter Pan, so now I gotta defeat Hook. And I feel like that's pretty much where I'm not saying that's where they took it from, but that's the same premise, the similar premise as the Hook movie. I don't really see a lot of potential in making it a live action series, just because it just deserves to be more of a cartoon series, because you have more room for expansion to do whatever you want. But to tone it down to a realistic tone, to make it a live action, I don't know how much potential. I don't know if I'm not quite having too many high hopes for the series. I mean, I didn't really watch this series as a kid. I seen a few episodes, but I was not like a diehard fan of it. So I'm really wondering how they're gonna take an animated series and just have to just transfigure it into a realistic series, a live action. And I'm wondering, are we gonna have Mojo Jojo? Like, is that gonna be the villain, or will they create just some separate character to play the villain? Because we all remember what happened in the Super Mario's live action movie, the Super Mario Bros. I mean, we had Bowser, but we ended up getting this guy. I'm just afraid that that's what history is gonna repeat itself with this Powerpuff Girls live action series. But if they do make this series interesting and they prove me wrong, I will buy a Powerpuff Girl shirt and I will wear it on my next video. So I challenge the creators, the producers, to make this show interesting, and I will sacrifice to watch it. And if they prove me wrong, I will buy the shirt. So we have Creed 3 coming out in 2022. We have Evil Dead is confirmed to film the new installment and the new live action series of the Powerpuff Girls. Which one are you most excited for? Are you excited for Creed, Evil Dead, Powerpuff Girls, or maybe all of the above? What are your theories on any of these new films and this show, or what it's going to be about, the possible outcomes? Go ahead and let me know in the comments below. And thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.